going on, Vol fans? Welcome into Tennessee Football Talk. Happy Saturday morning to you. It started off as a good morning because Tennessee just made another move in the transfer portal, adding to their 2026 transfer portal class. I'll break down who it is and why you should be excited. Then after that, we're going to talk today's visits. We're going to talk possible players that could be committing soon, and we're going to round today's show out with a little bit of Aryan Carter talk. News came out late last night. He's withdrawing from the NFL draft and entering the transfer portal. We'll break that down before we get out of here. Appreciate you guys for hanging out with us on your Saturday mornings. If you have not joined us yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We are getting awfully close to 12,000 subs, so do me one big favor and hit that big red sub button down below. Donovan Haslam is your newest Tennessee Volunteer. The offensive lineman, interior offensive lineman out of West Virginia, made it official today. And this is a big move, both in the sense that it's a big spot and a big move for Tennessee, but it's also a big move in the fact that this dude is 6'4" and 330 pounds, which is massive for an interior offensive lineman. I'm talking like NFL size for an interior offensive lineman. He'll be slotted in that left guard spot for the Tennessee Vols just because you got Jesse Perry in the right guard spot, which he played primarily for West Virginia in 2025, 444 total snaps for the Mountaineers. Before going to West Virginia, he spent 3 years at Austin Peay in Clarksville, Tennessee with the Govs, and now he's going to make it just a little bit or a lot of bit west or east, on I-40 from Austin Peay. Look, I'm really excited about this signing. I think anytime you add in the trenches, anytime you add on the offensive line, that's going to be a massive get for any school in the SEC. Right now, your offensive line is looking really good, if I'm being honest with you. Left tackle is going to be David Sanders. Left guard is going to be Donovan Haslam. Center, you're going to have Sam Pendleton. Right guard, you can have Jesse Perry. And at right tackle, you got Ory Williams, okay? A bunch of just massive maulers up front. And it's going to be so important to have a really good offensive line in 2026 just because of the quarterback situation. I mean, I've got a lot of confidence in George McIntyre as the player, as the mental processor, and as the arm talent. But what has been his sticking point for the entirety of this offseason and the entirety of his career at Tennessee? It's the weight. Okay, now I don't have a lot of problems. I don't have any problems with the weight when it comes to your ability to throw the football and play the quarterback position. Where the weight issue kind of starts to creep in is when you realize, look, you're playing in the SEC. You are going to get hit over and over and over and over and over again. Can that frame last an entire season? That's the big question with George McIntyre. Now, I know he's going to add weight from here until you're kicking things off in late August, early September. But that just makes it even more important this season to have big offensive linemen, talented offensive linemen you can believe in that can be there to protect him. Because it's going to be imperative to give him protection for two reasons. Number one, to keep him healthy, keep him in the games. And number two, he's going to be a first-year starter. Oftentimes, it can get a little jittery back there, right? Those younger players can tend to get a little bit panicky when the pocket is closing in, either bail, stop their progressions, or make wrong decisions. So that's why it's going to be so important to get as many good offensive linemen on this roster as you can. And even if it weren't a new quarterback, you always want to get as many good offensive linemen as you can. And I trust this team when it comes to their ability to add offensive linemen in the transfer portal. I mean, think about Lance Hurt. Okay, think about Mincy before he left and went and bought a hot dog at the Kentucky concession stand. Think about last year's guys, Sam Pendleton, right? Like this team, and Wendell Moy. Like this team adds a lot of offensive line talent typically in the transfer portal. They're never guys we're super excited about. They're never guys that are like the top of the list, but they always end up playing really well. I thought that Donovan Wilson gave a cool little quote on what he brings to the table. He said, I feel like I can bring just being a dominant run blocker and pass blocker, just imposing my will on people, moving people, so my running backs can do what they do and my QBs can be good quarterbacks. I got some other SEC schools trying to set up a visit, but I don't know if I'm going to take them, of course. This was a couple days ago. I don't know if he ended up taking them. Obviously, it did not matter because now he is a Tennessee Volunteer, and I think that this transfer portal class is better because of it. It might not be done adding players, ladies and gentlemen, because you got a big visit today. That's cornerback Aaron Scott Jr., former 5-star cornerback, went to Ohio State, really highly rated prospect. I believe he was the number 1 player in Ohio when he committed to the Buckeyes. He's young, right? He's green. He has not played a ton of football, and he's played on a defense where, look, if you're young, you don't play. That's just kind of how it is with Ohio State. Think of how elite their defenses have been over the last couple of seasons. So, it's not ridiculous that this young guy has not seen the field a lot in his first 2 years of college football. The thing is, if he comes to Tennessee, he'd see the field immediately. Obviously, we don't have the same amount of depth that the Buckeyes do, but also he's older. I think this is a big reason or big moment for Michael Hunter to prove himself early in this role. Look, we hired you from being an assistant coach at Ohio State to be this team's cornerback coach. We moved on from Willie Martinez, a guy who was a really good recruiter. What can you do for us this early? Landing Aaron Scott would be massive, okay? It would be massive. His visits today, I would be hopeful that something gets locked down either today or over the next couple of days. He's already taken his visit to Oregon. I feel like this is going to be his last visit. And hopefully Michael Hunter can make this thing official. Also, VolQuest told us this morning could visit Ricky Fletcher, cornerback out of Ole Miss. I don't know too much on that prospect, but I would like to believe that if Aaron Scott is a no, then they would just, kind of transfer their focus to him out of Ole Miss. Some visits that have happened, but we're still waiting to hear some news on. Gavin Sawchuk, Javen Gordon. 2 running backs, Sawchuk obviously from Florida State, Gordon from Tulane. I've got it on pretty good, authorities from some pretty good sources. Some good news on Gordon could be coming down sometime today. DJ Burks, the safety from Appalachian State. Tavis Metcalf, younger brother of TJ Metcalf, the safety target you landed earlier this week. And then Ethan Fields, Ole Miss offensive lineman. I feel like Fields is a no-go, right? You just locked down Donovan Haslam. You're not going to get another interior offensive lineman. Metcalf feels promising just because you got his older brother. And then DJ Burks, safety out of Appalachian State. That's a kid I would really like. Now, obviously, you've added well in the safety realm. And I think you don't need to stop adding. I think you need as many good defensive backs, as many good safeties as you can possibly get, and that's exactly what you would be getting with DJ Burks. So just because you've added safeties in TJ Metcalf and Dejuan Lane doesn't mean that position could not use greater depth, because anything that taught us, and this is kind of applies for Aaron Scott as well, I don't think he'd be a starter. Kayin Lee's been a 3-year starter in the SEC. We obviously had Ty Redmond pretty much start for us the entirety of last season. He's not going to go anywhere either. But what I do believe you could get out of Aaron Scott Jr. is just great depth, because what we saw this year was that's what you need, right? Obviously, no Jermon McCoy for the entirety of it. Ricky Gibson goes down week 1. Depth is so crucial in this game. It's so crucial in the sport. It's so crucial in this conference. So that would be awesome if you could land DJ and Aaron Scott Jr. Exactly for that. Aryan Carter news before we get out of here. Got announced late last night. He is withdrawing his name for the NFL draft. Will be into the transfer portal. Automatically, this seems like something that's incredibly weird, incredibly strange, very surprising. And yeah, it probably is. But also in the same breath, you just got to realize, most likely what happened. He put his name in the NFL draft. And I think there's 2 things that could happen. Number 1, this might be the most likely thing, is that toe injury just has not healed enough for him to be able to compete in the combine and get eyes on him from scouts. Number 2, probably didn't get a ton of draft love that he thought he was going to get before going into it, right? So then he takes his name out. Tennessee's already spent the money that they're paying him. That money is in Chaz Coleman's pocket. You have a guy that goes to the NFL draft, you go spend his money elsewhere to try to replace him, and they did replace him with Amare Campbell. Okay, I like Aryan Carter a lot, tackle machine. Amare Campbell has a different skill set. There's things Aryan does better. There's things Campbell does better. I tend to think Campbell's a little bit more well-rounded because he's better in coverage. He's a little bit faster than Carter was. I'm not throwing any shade on Carter. I thought he was a great linebacker. But like your spot's gone, your money's gone, you're going to withdraw your name from the NFL draft, you go somewhere else. Like it's pretty simple, right? People are like, he's not a VFL. I disagree because, look, Tennessee moved on from him. Now, they didn't have a choice. He went to the NFL draft, but like he's not going to come back and take a fourth of the money that he was getting originally when he can go get that somewhere else. Now, you can have your own opinions on that. That is mine. That's going to do it for today's show. Appreciate you guys for hanging out with us. We'll have another video most likely out later today. I expect another announcement to be made at some point in the next 5 to 6 hours about another player. When that happens, we'll break it down in the afternoon. Y'all have a wonderful Saturday, and we'll see you next time.